Wait, okay. So, I planned to record it all in one video, pero na-cut off ako, and I refuse to re-record. So, you're gonna get 2 videos. Okay, dumako naman tayo sa ano nga ba ang kahalagahan ng deconstruction at bakit ito patuloy na ginagamit part 2. So, yung nasabi ko nga kanina, ang mga pares ay may nakapaloob na hierarchy o pagtatangi. That means may comparison na nangyayari sa mga pares na to o sa mga binary opposition na to. Ngayon, makikita naman ang kinikilingang pananaw sa pagitan ng mga binary opposition. Diba, for example, in literature, there's usually factions in it, like may magkaaway. Dahil yung authors, ginagamit niya yung binary opposition na, for example, yung isang faction is red, yung isang faction is blue. Those binary oppositions could not just mean it's like color versus color, but it also could have an underlying hierarchy or pagtatangi based sa author. Like for example, siguro for the author, blue is the better faction and red is the better faction. Ngayon, when you read literature, you will see these binary oppositions or these factions in books as well. Makikita mo dun na may magkaaway pala dito, pero mas gusto ko yung side na yon. That's an example of you being able to realize that the author is trying to tell you na may binary opposition sa book na to, and you should pick one or the other. You're the reader, but as the author, I choose this. You get it. And then, hindi lamang sa panitikan, kundi sa halos lahat ng aspekto ng ating lipunan, nasabi ko na yan. And then, nagagawa nating himayin at unawain kung bakit nagkakaroon ng ganoong uri ng paghahati at pagtatangi. So, like I mentioned dun sa paragraph ng kahalagahan, often, more than not, wala naman talagang binary oppositions in the real world. May mga nag-aaway, sure, pero yung mga pag-aaway na yon, it's not really necessary. Like for example, in literature, there's Romeo and Juliet. For some reason, Romeo and Juliet's families have been fighting for so long, which is kind of stupid if you think about it. And they only stopped fighting when their children died because they loved each other and they realized all this fighting is stupid. So, nagagawa nating himayin kung bakit nga ba may pagfa-fight yung families na yon. And it's usually because of something stupid. Pero nakikita natin that there's a reason for these binary oppositions that we can then use to free ourselves from these binary oppositions. Like for example, dun sa political debate na sinabi natin kanina, the rich versus poor. The rich and the poor don't have to fight because they should be on the same side. They're citizens of what controls them, because no matter how rich you are, if your government decides that you have no money, you have no money, and there's very little you can do about it unless you're like super ultra rich, in which case you're probably on their side. Okay, next naman, maaaring matukoy at questionin ang mga puwersang nasa likod ng mga pagtatakdang ito na sabi na, and matukoy ang mga puwersang maaaring siyang dahilan kung bakit ipinaglalaban o sinasalungat ang dalawang panig. Nasabi na din, and naipapakita na hindi naman talaga magkaaway ang mga konseptong ito, itinatapat lamang sa isa't isa ng mga nakatagong kapangyarihan o impluensya sa lipunan. Nasabi na din. So, ayun, yung deconstruction, napaka-importante siya guys, because it's basically just critical analysis, isn't it? It's a huge part of critical analysis, and you can even do it to yourself. Like for example, may kaaway ka. For some reason, isip mo magkaaway kayo, but really, you might not even be fighting. This may come from, this might sound super hyper-specific kasi may friend akong ganon. Hindi ako yung kaaway niya, pero may mga kaaway siya. And then sinasabi niya sa akin minsan, I want my enemies to fail. I want them to be lower than me in life. And I'm like, sure girl, we each have our own thing. But sometimes I think they're just miserable, so they want other people to be lower than them. And they can't admit to it kasi mataas yung pride nila. Regardless, I love that friend so much. I just want them to have a better, healthier mindset. I think they would be way happier if they stopped comparing themselves to other people. Honestly, they would probably have a boyfriend now if they did that. So, ayun. I don't know if medyo napansin niyo, sorry, medyo mabilis yung pag-explain ko. Kasi akala ko, kailangan ko siya i-edit sa CapCut para isang video. But of course, pwede ko naman i-upload 2 videos na lang. So, ayun, yung kahalagahan ng deconstruction and yung kahalagahan ng deconstruction point by point. So, mga kailangan yung tandaan sa deconstruction, si Jacques Derrida's French philosopher yung nakadiscover na to. Sa binary oppositions, may hidden hierarchy o pagkukumpara, and importante siya sa real world setting kasi very critical part siya ng literary analysis. Ganon. Ayun. So, actually, may mas maganda akong explanation, pero habang nagre-record ako, hindi na-save ng Canva yung recording ko, pero ang wonky niya. So, ang pangit ng presentation kapag ganon. So, eto na lang, mag-YouTube video na lang tayo. Ayan, thank you so much for listening. Dumako naman tayo sa next slide.